Welcome to Beginning Ukulele. Today's lessons we're going to be getting you ready for the song Oh My Darling Clementine that's coming up in the next tutorial. So before we actually play the song that's coming up in the next tutorial, we're going to prepare ourselves and get ready and be most successful and play that song as soon as possible. So if you recall, you have a checklist of techniques on page number 3 of your syllabus. You want to go get that, or if you have some notes on the techniques for playing ukulele and doing this course, it's on page number 3 for on the syllabus. Okay, so there's some things you want to keep in mind when playing the song. Before you play, you definitely want to do a few things. You want to preview the music. You want to remember to tap your foot, and you want to make sure that you do your Cordcock exercise before you play the song. There's some other things on the checklist that I'll let you do on your own. I'm not going to go through every one, just a few of them to get you in the habit of constantly doing this before you do a song. Okay, so let's what you want to do, it's very important, is always previewing music. So go ahead and get your music book, turn it to page 13. We're doing Oh My Darling Clementine. First thing you want to do is you want to preview the music, and what that does is you're going through the whole song and you're just making sure that you know all the chords. Okay, none of the chord changes are too difficult. If they are, you want to practice that. You recognize all of the musical notes, more so the terms. For instance, the rests are located over here, one here and one here. You might want to get a highlighter and just highlight that to remind you that when we come to those rests, we're not going to be playing. We're going to be just singing and continue playing on the next measure. Okay? So the rest means you take a little break on the instrument, and then you continue on starting from the next measure where you see the downward strokes. Most important, when you're previewing the music, these chords that are on the music, you want to check to make sure that you know them. For instance, in this song, there's a C and a G7, C and G7. We've done them before, so you already know how to play them. But you want to make sure that you did play before, you know how to play it, and especially making sure that the chord changes aren't too difficult. For instance, let's just say over here, for example, between these two measures right here, there's a C and a G7. You just want to make sure that chord change is not too hard to do, and if it is, that's something you want to practice before you play the song. Okay. It's very important that you preview the music before you play the song. It's like looking over a map to the destination that you're going to go to. You don't want to just drive there aimlessly and not really know where you're going. You want to have a pretty good idea on how to get there. If you're going to have any difficulties with traffic or whatever, you want to avoid that and have the most easiest route to your destination. Same thing with playing music. Now, when we're doing the Cordcock exercise, basically what you're doing, once again, is you're forcing the image straight into your memory, straight into your mind, instead of letting your mind, your brain, your memory pick up the information by osmosis. So in other words, instead of doing something multiple times, many times, and letting your brain pick it up that way, you're forcing the information into your brain faster, so you learn whatever it is you're working on faster. Okay, so we already covered the C chord, we already covered the G7 chord, so you should know how to play it, but we're going to review it. Here's the fingering, and it's also located in your music books if you need to look at it as well. When we're doing the Cordcock exercise, what we're doing is basically I'm holding the strings there with my right hand, ring finger, I'm playing the C chord. And really all you're doing is just pressing and relaxing. Pressing and relaxing. The first couple of times the finger never leaves the fretboard. Pressing, relaxing, never leaving the fretboard. Okay, and when you're looking at the chord, you're literally looking and memorizing how the finger looks, what it feels like on the ukulele, on the fretboard, pressing and relaxing. Now, As you get a little better comfortable, keep in mind this just takes seconds, okay, maybe a minute if you at the most. So next you're going to press, and then you're going to relax, but you're going to lift a little bit off the string like that. Press, lift a little off the string like that. Okay. Now each time you're looking at it, you're memorizing. You know, where your thumb is in the back, how it feels, how it looks on the ukulele fretboard, everything. And then now, after that, you're going to close your eyes, press, and then lift off the fretboard with your eyes closed. And you want to see the image in your mind, put it back on. Your eyes are still closed, okay? Pressing, lifting off with your eyes still closed. And you want to do this several times. Press down. Do it about maybe 5 times. And you see it in your mind's eye with your eyes closed. And then once you've done it several times, lifting off, back down, open your eyes and make sure that you're where you should be for that chord. For then this was a C chord. Okay? Now let's try it with the G7 chord. Here's the fingering. We're going to do the Cordcock exercise for the G7 chord. So either check it out over here, finger 1, finger 2, finger 3, or look in your music book to see another diagram of how it looks. Okay? If you need to, pause the tutorial now and try the G7 chord for at least a couple times, and then continue on with this tutorial. Okay, so let's move on. We're making the G7 chord. First finger, second finger, third string, third finger, first string, second fret. Okay, I'm assuming that you can at least get the G7 fingering down. Okay, so when you're doing the Cordcock exercise for the G7 chord, same thing. What you want to do is you're looking at your left hand, or your chord hand, making a chord. You're pressing, you're relaxing. The first few times when you press and relax, the fingers never leaves the fretboard. Press, relax. You're just relaxing. Fingers still touches the strings. You're looking at the fingering, memorizing it, see the image in your mind, taking a snapshot, putting it into your memory. Press, relax. And after a few times, you're feeling like, okay, I'm going to try to see if I can lift it off the fretboard and then see if it can come back down. So you're going to press, lift off. Your eyes are still open. Press down, okay? Off. You're memorizing. You're still looking at it. Press down. If you think you're comfortable now, we're going to close our eyes, and now we're going to lift off. Our eyes are closed. Coming back down, pressing. Eyes are closed, lifting off, pressing down. Eyes still closed. I'll let you know when to open them. Lift off, press down, lift off. Now the harder the chord, the more you're going to have to do this. The easier the chord, the less you have to do it. Press down, lift off, press down. Okay, now go ahead and open your eyes. Are you on that G7 chord? If you're not, start from the beginning. Try it again, make the G7 chord. Not everybody can do it perfectly the first time they do this, so just keep in mind, you don't give up, you keep on doing it. I guarantee you're going to be really great at this, okay? And it's going to improve your ability to learn and play faster than the conventional style of playing. Okay, so this is the Cordcock exercise. Now, when you're previewing the music, you want to get to the point. I know this is just the beginning for you learning techniques, but you know, if you want to look into the future, the techniques that you're doing, you want to do it while you're previewing the music. So for instance, let's start with the C chord. Now I'm looking at the music and I'm just kind of reading aloud, and I'm switching the chords as I come to it while I read the music. For instance, in a cavern, in a canyon, excavating for a mine, and I made a G7 chord. Okay? And we'll come back to that in just a second. Now, some of the things you want to look for are ways that you can make your chords or change your chords quickly and easily. So, not all the time, but in some instances, we can do that by finding similar fingering patterns that are the same, so we can move into the next chord. So, for instance, what I'm trying to say is that if you see a finger that's the same on both chords, we can use that guy to switch between the two chords. So if you look on the chords here, we see a number 3 finger for the C, we see a number 3 finger here for the G7. So in other words, that's telling us that that third finger never leaves the fretboard. Kind of like a wheel on a track, or a wheel on a train on a railroad track. It never leaves the track. Think of it that way, okay? Number 3, all he's going to do is slide down 1 fret and then throw these other 2 fingers on. When you go back to the C, take off these 2 fingers, slide him back up to the 3rd fret. So let me show you what I mean. Here's a C chord, okay? We're going to make a G7. So what we're going to do, we're going to slide this 3rd finger down 1 fret right there. Throw these other 2 fingers right above it. You got a G7. Try that one more time. Make a C chord, C chord, C chord. Here we go. Slide him down, 3rd finger, slide down 1 fret. Throw the other 2 fingers 1 and 2 right above it. You got a G7 chord. Okay, if you want, pause the tutorial right here. Try that for a few times. When you're ready, start up the tutorial again. And then we'll move on. Okay, so we're moving on. Now, we're going from the G7 to a C chord. We got a G7 chord. Lift the 1st and 2nd fingers off. Slide that 3rd ring finger up to the 3rd fret. We got a C chord. And that's how we change from chord to chord. Once again, G7, make a G7 chord. Make a G7 chord. 1st finger, 2nd finger, 3rd finger. G7 chord. Okay? To slide to the C, all we do is lift off the 1st and 2nd finger and slide the 3rd ring finger up to the 3rd fret. So as you can see, that ring finger never ever left the fretboard and just stayed on that string. Okay? That's another great way of making it easier for chord changes. Okay. So now that we covered that, make sure that this example and this technique that you learned in this lesson that you always do before you play the song or exercise or lesson or practice or whatever it is you need to do. Now try this for a few times, really try to master this technique and how to go about doing it as best as possible, and this is really going to cut down your learning time overall through the course and into the future. Okay, so when you think you're ready, by the way, if you need to back up this tutorial and listen to it and watch it a few more times, by all means do so. This is a very important tutorial, and we're going to be doing more of these examples as we go through the course. Once you find that you're comfortable and you're ready, we shall see you for the next lesson, and we'll be playing the song "Oh My Darling Clementine."